Hi, welcome back to another episode of The Journey. I'm Marie Loff, and today we are joined by Noah. Noah, you want to say hi and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hello, my name is Noah Sommer. I'm an actor and music producer and a vocalist. Um, Mostly acting right now in terms of paid
Well, what did you get into first?
acting. Acting for sure. Right when I was like a kid, I knew I wanted to be an actor, and I played some animal in some elementary school play, and I just did it for me. And then professionally, I started acting at around 16 and have just been pursuing that pretty heavily. And then around 18, I got into producing music. There's this little free program. I just loved it. And now it's been like 5 years or something, 6 years, and I'm amazing at it in my opinion now.
Are you affiliated with a group or a nonprofit, or is this just, are you promoting yourself? How are you going about getting your name out there?
Yeah, it's just me, really. Um, I mean, I went to school for acting, so I have connections with different people. But in terms of the music, it's just networking, old-fashioned networking, going to events, going to open mics, for me, it's really just being about unapologetically forward with it all. I'm an artist. I love everything about creating and everything. I mean, I could really go on about it. And so really it's an honor to me to get to interact with people who are also in that field. And even if they're not, I mean, I love people in general, but yeah, if there's any artist and I get to talk to them and hopefully even make some connection, even if I can get other artists that aren't even me connected. I mean, that's just my world. Like I just live for that. So that's how I connect with people. Yeah.
How is COVID impacting you?
Well, my family just moved into a new house and I'm moved with them. And so it's kind of given us time to unpack and all that. I have no acting gigs. um, I have no DJ gigs, so that's not nice to have no paying gigs. And I got laid off from my restaurant job, so that's a big impact. That's a really really big deal. Um, it does give me a lot of time to work on monologues and music and even mental health. I mean, it just is a lot of time to just a lot of time, and I'm okay. I'm decent with actually using free time to my advantage, which is a very good skill that I've learned. Um, so this has been helpful in a lot of ways. It's been helpful in every way other than money. So
Are you worried about the money aspect? I mean, I think everyone's worried about the money aspect of it, but you said that you were lucky that you're living with your family.
I'm pretty much good, to be honest. I just have the most like blessed, wonderful support system a person could ask for. So, I mean, I have to make my car payment and some other payments, but I don't have a lot of costs. And so I'm super, super lucky. Fortunately, I just have an amazing support system. My whole family, we're all still alive, we're all still healthy, we all help one another, so. And my dad has a glass installation business, so I can work for him and make money because glass installation, it's construction, it's a vital, whatever word they use, it's necessary.
As we're going through this, some people are like, they're applying for full-time positions and thinking about leaving their businesses. There's people that are like, well, we're just taking this time to kind of
Mhm.
grow ourselves, put ourselves in a better place mentally. Um, you said you're being really creative right now. How do you see yourself positioning for coming out of COVID?
I want to come out with 5 monologues because we audition with monologues. I just want it to be undeniably good, just for any person watching to think, Yeah, yeah. I'd like to see that guy work. You know, I'd like to see him in this or that. Whether or not I'm actually going to be picked for the role because they're, you know, maybe I'm too short or I don't match with the person who's already been cast. But for it to just be an undeniable thing where, okay, like, okay, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Um,
You have to manage both ends. You have to manage your business end, you have to manage your creative end. Do you ever struggle with that, or is it a fairly simple process for you?
I constantly struggle with it a lot, actually. The business end, specifically with acting, it was a while before I could consistently look for acting gigs. Something about it, just so much anxiety. I don't know why. It's not like I was nervous to apply. It's just I think the process was just not my space where I thrive. Like looking through everything, reading everything, having to go through particulars, and then it's just the whole deal. And it's not that hard at all. It's like applying for jobs, I guess. Even if they're not acting gigs, I don't think most people find it to be the most enjoyable thing in the world. You
It
know.
it it really is, because
Mm.
it is your job.
Yeah,
And that
yeah.
is the part where you're generating your income. Now that you're stuck inside and there's not as many acting gigs, have you thought of, a lot of people are kind of like rewriting their protocols and restructuring themselves. Have you thought about how to virtually do that, or are you like, this is what I am, and when we come back, we come back?
You know, I'm not really gonna change that much, except I want, as I said, I want to deliver like undeniably good talent. I think that's the main thing that I'm gonna do. I won't accept myself sending a video audition that I think is I need it to be fantastic. And I mean that in a good way. Like this is my passion. So it kind of actually hurts my self-esteem if I don't send something fantastic. It's not congruent with my values.
Does your idea of exceptional ever change? Do you ever do something and you're like, this is exceptional, I love it, and you send it out, and then afterwards you're like, I could have done better?
I think I think I'm always kind of on top of it, whether or not it's exceptional. And I think I always have been. Because even in like a play I did when I was a few years younger, like maybe 5 years at this point, I remember thinking I did really well. And everybody else thought I did too. And then there's stuff I've been in where I didn't think I did really well. And nobody else thought I did really well either. So I'm sort of, I think, have a decent um whatever, being able to tell. Although I'm gonna be harshest on myself normally, just because that's the nature of it, I think. But no, I can tend to know when I did something really well and when I didn't. The only time it gets confusing, specifically with acting, is there are some occasions where, and I've heard this from other actors as well, you feel completely in the moment. For me personally, it was perfect, but I am presenting. Acting, it is a performing art. So even if I feel completely in the moment, it's not necessarily the best way to make the audience feel what we're trying to make the audience feel. That's the only time where I think me confusing excellence gets weird. And then with music, there's still times I'm just not as experienced. There's some stuff, basically all my instrumentals people like, but now I'm being a vocalist as well, and there's my main point of growth that I need to focus on. But at the same time, I got acting, and I make money off acting right now. I don't off music right now, so I'm trying to prioritize acting.
How do you feel like you've directly been impacted so far by COVID? Do you think it's like a positive or a negative, or are you somewhere like in between? You're not sure yet.
Honestly, it's been mostly positive, I think, um, because it's also given me time to read some books that I needed to read. Um, Self care and having this time where I don't have to worry about getting gigs because I can check and there's like one, and I might be able to, it might apply to me or not. So it's just I have a lot of free time and I have it for a long time. There are certain things not clouding my mind. I have a lot more mental space. And so it's actually a great spot to be in for me when I'm trying to get my, I'm gonna probably send out emails so I can get videos or the parts of films I've been in so that I can create a reel, which is basically you just show yourself in different scenes and whatnot for a casting director to look at. It's like 2 minutes or a minute. Just get things set up to be more professional, more real about it, to be able to take it off like a serious actor should. Yeah, I think COVID has actually been good for me. Other than not being able to see people I really want to see. Yeah.
Coming out of this, do you think that you may be ahead of other actors in your field?
Yeah, because um, I went to the National Conservatory of Dramatic Arts, and they gave us so many skills to be fantastic actors, but you have to do it. And I have not necessarily put in as much time as I could. And I think I think this time will help me hone things. And I mean, that's the goal, yeah, to come out with a step ahead, or maybe a few steps ahead. We'll see, but I know there are definitely people all over the world who are working hard in the same fields I am. So, you got to be humble, but also know that there are a lot of people working less hard. I think I'll be a lot more confident and happy and pleased with myself with the work I'm actually putting in. Because I put in work for stuff, but then I see a short film of mine just came out. Of mine, I didn't make it. I was in it, and my acting was okay, and that's what I'm hearing from a lot of people. Or some people think I was the best one, but nobody's saying it was my best work. I don't think I was the best one, and most people don't either. But what I realized is in theater, I tend to do better, but that's a whole, oh my gosh, theater is a whole process. So I figured out, okay, when I'm acting on camera, I need to rehearse on camera. I can't act like the camera viewing me is somehow not part of the equation. And I need to be very, very, very conscious of that. How I get picked up, how I look when I talk, my face. I just need, I can be kind of obsessive over things. Rarely is it a bad thing for me. Every once in a while, it's sort of like, okay, Noah, relax. But, you know, acting on film it's a beast, a whole different beast from acting in theater. Still acting, a lot of different skill sets.
Obviously, as an actor, you have to maintain, like, a certain aesthetic appeal because you are your product. Right now, everyone being shut inside, everyone's like looking for new routines. And what are you doing?
So we still have the old house because there's a pandemic and not many people are buying houses right now. It was very windy and so many sticks are on the ground now. I have been picking them up because we have to sell the house. There can't be sticks everywhere. I mean, a lot. And so I put about 10 hours into picking up sticks. I'm aware of how leaning over can be bad, and so I'm trying to do it really appropriately. And so it's working my lower body and my lower back in a healthy way. But I mean, it's like on a hill, like picking up sticks, and I'm still, oh my gosh, like I have to take breaks and stuff. So that's sort of that's sort of where I'm at right now with exercise.
People are probably like listening to like picking up sticks, but I can completely relate to that because growing up, I grew up on 3 acres,
Mm-hmm.
and my uncle's chore was to pick up the sticks.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, my uncle's like, I think he was like 12 years older than I was or 13 years older than me.
Okay.
So, of course, my grandfather would tell him to go pick up sticks, and
Mm.
he's like this 17, 18-year-old, and he'd be
Yeah.
like, okay, we're going to play pirates. Now, I'm the captain, and I'm going to go lay on this hammock, and you guys are going to pick up all the sticks in the yard and put them in the wheelbarrow. And when you're done, you bring them back to me, and I'll tell you what to do from there. And
That's
we were
fun.
so exhausted at night when we went to sleep because it's
Yeah.
a lot of work.
It is. It is. I keep telling friends like what I'm doing, and they're so confused. What do you mean you're picking up
Pick
sticks?
up sticks.
There's a lot of sticks to pick up, and it is. It's hard work.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so funny that you can relate because I think the
Yeah.
grand majority of people cannot relate.
No. No. When I tell my kids that like picking up sticks was a chore for us, they're like, "What?"
Yeah. Right.
But
Like.
it was a real struggle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Sticks on the ground. You got to get to them.
Yeah. And then sometimes you have to break them because they're really, really big sticks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Or if they're really small, it's kind of a pain. I like
Yeah.
the medium-sized ones, but once again, I have I am obsessive. I have OCD, so it gets to a point where I kind of realize these sticks do not need to be picked up. They're very small and they're fine. It's
Oh,
so 10 hours is a lot.
my grandfather would have loved you because he had to specify dimensions. He'd be
Oh,
like,
what?
he'd be like, every stick from this size to anything bigger than this definitely goes in the wheelbarrow. Like, I need
Mm-hmm.
to be able to ride over it with a lawnmower and my lawnmower not break.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, I have to do the same. I have to mow the yard too. Hopefully, I did a good job. There's still some sticks. We had a decent sized yard, but there's this big hill. And so, mowing the big hill and picking up sticks on the hill. Yeah, yeah, it's a whole thing. That's a whole thing. But that's all I'm getting my exercise right now,
Do you think you're going to see summer or do you think you're going to see fall?
if not later. I
You
do
think
not
it
have, I'm not optimistic right now. I think some things will open up a little bit, and then things will get a little bit worse, and then it'll open up a little bit. We'll be fine. I don't know. I mean, I'm just me. I've seen a few things talking about it, and some studies. I don't have particularly high hopes because it's even if it gets really small, it's made to then expand again. So in terms of a virus. But hopefully, we see summer for real. We hopefully we see the end of spring. I would love that. I'm not. I. It's getting hard not to go out. I just go for drives now, just to get out. Yeah.
when you go, do you ever like, do you wear a mask or?
I wear a bandana. We were low. We only had 2 masks, and that was my parents using up. I think they tried to buy more, but they just haven't come in. Well, most of the stores now they put up big things, which I'm
Yeah.
happy for them. Good for them, because that must be kind of scary all day interacting with people. But if there's other people there, yeah, I'm for sure 6 feet away. It's kind of like you with your kids, like me with my parents. If they got it because of me, oh, that would just be, oh my
Yeah.
god, yeah,
It's
um,
definitely something that like would weigh heavy on your conscience.
yeah. Even if they survived, that's a big deal. Even if they survive, to even say that sentence shows how big of a deal it is. But yeah, I just wear a bandana. Once the other face masks come in, I'll use that. But I try not to go out at all. I don't know if a mask is safer, but it just looks safer. So once that comes in, I'll use it. This whole thing is, oh my god, it's so bizarre. It's so bizarre. And hearing commercials on the radio about like this situation, because we're in it. I don't know. I'm just like, wow, I'm really listening to a commercial for some, everyday product where a pandemic is being mentioned. And the pandemic is real. It's just so strange, and then there's other stuff that's strange. And did you have that? You had that moment though too, where it just dawned on you that this
Yeah.
is completely real.
Yeah, it first started with he owns his own business and they
Good
brought
for him.
in a receptionist. And so of course, she was going through and making her like little supply list and she noticed they didn't have any Lysol for the counters. So we went to look for it and he's like, "Is Lysol like really popular or something?" And I was like, "Well, a lot of people use it, yeah, but no, it's not usually totally sold out like this."
Hmm.
And that was like the first thing was I think it was like 3 or 4 Targets before we finally found a bottle of Lysol. At the time, he's like, "Should I buy an extra bottle for our home?" And I was like, "No." I was like, "No, we're good. We're good." Like a week later was the whole toilet paper issue. And just everything kind of like really dawned on me in that moment that it was like, probably should have let him buy the Lysol and not been my normal stubborn self.
Hmm.
Probably should have bought the toilet paper.
Yeah. I do think this might make people more conscious of certain things to be grateful for. I think that's possible. Or maybe just be better about not wasting paper. Like I used to just go directly to the paper towels. And now I sit there and think, okay, can I use a normal towel? Can I what can I do other than that? And if I do use a paper towel, normally I'll just rip part of it. And it's a lot different than before. Um, I've always tried not to like waste anything, but now I need to not waste anything. I hope there are positive things that come out of this. So we'll see.
I think that there is actually going to be a lot of good that comes out of this because a lot of the people I've talked with, this has kind of been a wake up call,
Yeah.
for restructuring or how can you help others. Um, I think that there's going to be, when we come out of this, I think that there's going to be a whole new movement and perspective. At least that's what I'm
Mm,
really hoping for and kind of what I'm
same.
hearing and I'm seeing. When you get out of self quarantine, what is going to be the first thing that you do?
Oh my god, I'm gonna be with the homies for. I need to hang out with people, and me and a few friends. Me, you know, they're just people I want to see, and like me and my ex is still really close, and it was her birthday week, and I was like, man, I wish I could get her like cupcakes or something, but you know, I risk my
Yeah,
life. um,
right.
yeah, so it's definitely friends. That's what I think. And looking at gigs. If gigs come, that's it. Friends and gigs. Otherwise, I'm kind of doing the same stuff as normal. I've always tried to be good about my free time and use it effectively and self care. Like I do this morning warm up routine. It's just like very gentle, like stretching out and stuff. That's pretty much what I do. Normally, since I got laid off of the restaurant job, we'll see what happens there. I'd rather not work at a restaurant. I'd rather just make my money doing other stuff, but it's not that reliable. So I'll probably get another restaurant job and yeah, another restaurant job, see friends, and look for gigs. Not too much dramatic change.
How can people support you and your creative endeavor?
Well, the artists that I try to make connections with can actually do their part in terms of making that connection. Like I love that you are doing this and you actually did it. There's a lot of talk. I've found artists talk a lot,
Yeah.
and the way that our careers are actually going to advance requires action as well as talking. So that's the biggest thing. It's not people. It's my peers. My peers just have to do the damn thing. And I've struggled a lot with that with people I'm close with and trying to get people up. It took me a while to recognize like I cannot, if somebody's not showing me um, that they're really motivated, I can't expect them to be acting in ways that would require a lot of motivation. And it's not okay if I hold that against them at all. And I don't, but I do have to recognize the reality of it. So luckily I have some close friends who are really about their art, but we're all broke artists, so all we can really ask from for each other is, feedback, motivation, and working together. And that's beautiful. I love that. I'm not upset that there's no money involved. Love if there was money involved, but the only money involved is us losing money because we have to put energy and stuff into it. But that's all I really need right now is collaboration and support, and just my big thing is I really want to build a sort of web of connections. I'm so excited when I get to connect people, or when it's just going to be working on that and trying to make sure the people related to that are people that should be in that.
And, they go, I'm talented. I don't know where to start. I don't know how to do this. Or just for anyone listening, what advice would you give them?
Specifically for people who like want to do it and don't know where to start, definitely, look it up and look at a few websites and sort of see some of the constants, and go on Reddit and stuff too if you can, to see the few constants with acting. You can go to Dragonuk, dragonuk.com, and that's a free website for acting gigs and whatnot. A lot of people don't care about your headshot anymore. They want to see a current selfie. So I've had to get good at taking selfies, because I just want to know what you look like right now. A lot, they don't want to see your headshot. They want to see you. So there are plenty of opportunities to not have a headshot because they can get expensive. Luckily, I'm super close with my friend who's one of the best photographers I've ever known, and she still charges, but her price is super good. She should raise her price, but it's hard to convince her, because she's humble. But headshots can get seriously expensive. If you don't have any experience, don't make a resume, I guess. A big thing is research, and it can kind of suck, but research and then just going and doing something. Because talking to your peers, so much information will eventually come out, if not right away. The hope would be that a person is super good at talking to people and can talk, but it's sort of hard to do that for a lot of people. And just start doing smaller things, being an extra on a TV show or whatever, if you can even get it. But anybody who wants to do art or really anything, I think research is so important. That's something that I think a lot of people sleep on. We have Google, we have, I guess, if you use Bing. And as a creative, if it's something where you don't need to make money off of it, like, use it. Um, Only look up stuff if you want to at that point. I mean, I went a long time without looking up that much. It was more like slowly learning how to make better instrumentals, and a lot of it was just experimenting, and then I would look stuff up, and so it was this very nice. But I don't believe that learning more about your craft takes away from the instantaneous beauty of it. I made this song without no, like Prince. I guess he never studied music, but he was like one of the best musicians of all time. If you're a musician and you like Prince, my advice would be relax. You're allowed to look up music stuff. You don't have to take it all on your own. As an actor, you can join these Facebook groups, and if you really want to, you might direct message people just to see, and that can be uncomfortable, but discomfort is unavoidable as a human and definitely as an artist. And if you're not an artist and I'm supposed to give advice to you, I guess I'll just say, love yourself, and read The Six Pillars of Self-Esteem by Nathaniel Branden. That's life changing.
So, as we transition to the end of our podcast, um, If people want to follow you and see what you're doing and what you've been in, how do they find you?
They don't really at this point. That's one of the things where it's like, man, I think I'm a really good actor and I'm really great at all this, and I don't have a website. I don't have an official Facebook or anything. So that's a big deal, though. Anybody listening to this should know that that's not okay. That's not okay. That's a bad thing. I mean, if anybody wants to reach me, Noah Sommer actor at gmail.com. That's NoahSommer at gmail.com. As you've heard, I act, I make instrumentals, I'm starting to do vocals, and if nothing else, I have a lot of connections. If anybody's looking for, I don't know, any type of artist, I hopefully will know somebody that I could connect them with. So if you want to get to me, my email, noahsummeractor at gmail.com. Yeah, that is not a good thing though. I want to reiterate, I need a place I can send people to. I
Yes, you do.
really, I really need that. And that's not a big deal that I don't have that. That is a big deal. So,
All right, Noah, we're going
okay.
to wrap up the podcast. Thank you so much for being a part of this with us and telling us like your story and your thoughts and your perspectives.
Mhm.
Um, and maybe once this is all ended, we can come back and revisit this and see
Yeah.
how well you're you're doing.
Yeah, I would definitely be interested in that. Yeah. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. I think this is super cool.
Oh, thank you so much. The pleasure was
Yeah.
mine.
Yeah.
All right. So, thanks for listening to another episode of The Journey. As always, stay safe, positive, and stay inside.